So it says, Disney and Marvel face backlash for using the late Chadwick Boseman's Twitter account to promote Black Panther 2,
WTF.
Wakanda Forever. To which I say, how did this get by legal? Like, it has to be a deal they worked out with the family, right?
As a state.
I was always disturbed by, like, the way we go about treating a dead person's social media presence, especially if they're well known. But either way, like, Facebook has the memorialized status of, like, anyone who's passed away on that platform, which I'm sure are, like, in the millions at this point.
Yeah.
It's questionable to me, and I think this gets into, like, using someone's image and name.
Yeah.
This gets into, like, stealing someone's intellectual property and stealing their image for marketing. I think it should be, like, something that they'll get, like, legally penalized for.
They should.
My guess is they cleared it with his family first. That's
even worse.
It shouldn't even be up to the family. I don't even know if that's okay.
Yeah,
like
next of
because
kin.
think about especially celebrities' families who use that celebrity as their cash cow. Even after they die, part of their estate is their social media presence and the bargaining power that gives them.
Maybe what we'll have to do, like what like celebrities and famous people have to do, is like write it into their will.
Yeah,
that you cannot use. It's like that.
We're getting to that point. It's so disgusting.
There was that. There's a great meme that I saw the other day. I think I mentioned it on here yesterday. It's a guy and it says it's a medical bracelet, but it says TikTok nurses can't talk about.
I love
can't
it.
Dance about my death.
Right.
Like, you're gonna have to write into your will, like, and none of you ungrateful people that tried to take advantage of me while I was alive with lots of money get to use my name and likeness just because you're my next of kin.
I'm going to say something really sobering here that you guys might not really like. This might not be quite the place for it, but as far as living wills go, everybody should have one no matter how young you are, because if you get hit by a car and you're on life support, your family's going to want to know what to do with you. They're just going to do what they think is right by you. And the other thing that you guys need to know is that a life alert bracelet is not good enough, and a tattooed will is not legally binding. It's
but
not.
Isn't there like all those stories of like contracts written on cocktail napkins that end up being legally binding? Wouldn't that be the same thing?
I don't think so. I think wills are a little bit different. I think they
Okay.
have, obviously they have to be notarized and everything, all the usual.
So it says, so we're going to go right into it. It says, apparently having learned nothing from the overwhelmingly negative reaction to their recent licensing of Marvel icon Stan Lee's likeness for future CGI revivals. Yes, we covered that on here, that basically POW Entertainment or whatever it is that he owned and then later had all these contract disputes with over his over elder abuse of him, as they were like forcing him to sign stuff in blood when he was like on his deathbed.
That's not cool.
Now they've got a deal going with that company to use his likeness post in his death.
Yeah.
They can use his likeness to market Marvel and Disney properties, which is evil and ghoulish and weird.
Yeah, deep fakes are something not a lot of people even know exists, or like the level of technology that's available to do them. And now I think we're seeing like the repercussions of it before we're taking any like caution.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the Obama deepfakes years ago that were very, very convincing.
Yeah.
Very convincing.
And like, then you don't even know who has the best technology for it, because if it's good enough, you won't know.
Yep.
Yeah, this just strikes me as an arms race of who's going to have the best technology to make their fake videos.
I am sure the CIA is already using plenty of them to topple small governments.
I'm sure.
I have
And they have an interest in not showing their hand, like not showing how well they're able to do it. So
of course.
I remember I went one night into a deep dive conspiracy of like of calling Zelensky like a deep fake of somebody like
dangerous.
I got a kick out of it. I mean, I don't buy it, but
obviously politicians have to worry about that, but celebrities should be thinking about this too. And I hope that Chadwick Boseman had a will that like covered at least some part of his like protecting his image and name, but why wouldn't this be part of it?
Yep. So it says, unsurprisingly, the use of a deceased man's image by both the company and Boseman's family, the latter of whom have reportedly taken over running the actor's account following his passing,
Gross.
to market a major corporate product, sparked a wave of outrage amongst audiences, many of whom took to social media to express their personal disbelief at these decisions. And I think they're right. There is something unbelievably creepy about doing it for such a reason. Like, it's not
especially because we don't. Essentially, we don't know what someone experiences after they die.
Yeah.
Who knows, how people might feel about something they did while they were living now they're dead, if they're, still in, some form of consciousness. I think it goes against their freedom of conscience to promote something that they did while they were living.
Argument.
It's the same thing as, these hologram performances.
That's
It's
interesting.
The same thing as after Lil Peep died, and they were still releasing his unreleased music. They're still releasing a lot of these dead rappers' music, like Pop Smoke or
Tupac gets
all
like
of
a
these
new
people.
album like every few years. just
XXX
redoing,
Tentacion, his music
WTF.
too. I don't know if that is ethical. I think it goes against their freedom of conscience that you're using their artistic platform after they no longer have the ability to choose what they're putting out there.
That's very interesting, the hologram argument, because I wouldn't have ever, because they're performing their song that they wrote or whatever, that they were part of the creation of, I never thought of that as something that would necessarily be bad. But what if one of the promoters at some concert they're working on, they didn't get along with them, or they don't agree with the message, or, there's a million reasons people don't do things these days. I think people are usually too sensitive over why they boycott certain things. But, it's completely logical to think whose right is it to allow that person's music to make money for somebody they had no ability to actually negotiate with beforehand.
Right.
Well,
I think this sounds like something that needs to start being written into the living wills of people who are above a certain level of fame.
I wonder if it's in the contracts. If it's literally in their contracts, oh, by the way, in Disney's we'll
they're
pay
so
you this.
cleverly written
In the case
that
of your death,
you could read
yeah.
over it and have no idea what the consequences are.
They're the best
after.
lawyers. Yeah.
Well, we talked about that the other day about people, the comic book writers who were they're getting these small payouts from Marvel and Disney for contracts that they signed in 2007 because they didn't read them thoroughly enough and they didn't consult a lawyer beforehand. And plus, a lot of this, because the technology is all so new, there isn't law or precedent set to do any of this.
I forget what context this was brought up, or who brought it up, but there are contracts in the entertainment industry now that write in such a vague way that it could encompass work in an artist's work in the metaverse or in the possible multiverse. I don't even know what that means, if that refers to virtual worlds or if they're really accounting for the possibility that we have access to another dimension. But
It's kind of interesting.
they are willing to own you and your entire person, your image, your likeness, your words, your conscience, your soul.
Yeah.
It's literally selling your soul.
Yeah.
They're willing to take ownership of the entirety of your being.
I've mentioned this before. There was a movie in 2013 called The Congress by Robin Wright, where she basically she sells her likeness to a company. And then they can use it forever and ever and ever. And that's the concept of eventually they will make her act in movies that she would not want to be part of.
I don't like
that's
that.
a huge part of what we talk about now. I complain a lot about actors who after the fact complain about roles they did, but at least they agreed to do it beforehand and their sensibilities changed later. Now you're not even allowed to have your sensibilities changed. Your sensibilities are being chosen for you.
But
And
you did sign it.
there are actors and actresses getting deep faked into pornography right now
Yeah,
who are living.
That's gross.
How is that legal?
Unacceptable. I don't think it is.
It's not legal, I don't think.
But it's very hard to
But what are the repercussions?
Right.
How do you go
it's
after
hard to
these people?
enforce.
So some of these tweets, it says using a dead actor's account to promote a movie as if it's some homage is so gross. This is where a lot of these people, where we joke about the kind of the NPCs who used to talk about bring down the corporate structure, and now they're like CNN, Disney.
We love
corporations.
Yes,
Please allow me to consume. They love these things when they get to make when they're part of the in crowd, but then they don't realize the absolute danger of these companies companies don't care about you. They don't care about any of that. And it's weird to see the same people now defend them. But something like this is just blatant enough and just brazen enough that it kind of shocks the people asleep into realizing these people don't care about you. Disney can race and gender swap all the characters in the name of inclusion that they want. They don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap about any marginalized community. They care about the larger marketing share that advertising to another group offers them.
Duh.
Yeah.
We know this. Hopefully this is a red pill to people. Somebody remarked that this is like super depraved, and that's a word I don't usually see like out there on social media.
Yep.
And they're entirely correct. This is not right, and we know it on a very deep level, even if we can't really pin it down exactly why we think that is.
So it's like, even if you got permission, why would this ever be a question you'd ask his family?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
We were wondering if we could use Chadwick's... I could understand if they were using his Twitter account to advertise charity work that he was part of beforehand, or events in his name that are done to raise money for charity. Even then, he's not given the opportunity to do his due diligence with these groups. Say he works with a cause before, right? Chadwick Boseman helps some charity that he thought was that he was very passionate about, right? But he passes away. But then they want to use that account to advertise with that same charity. Well, are the same people in charge?
Things change.
Things change. That makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't think that would be ethical either.
This is such an interesting question, because do you lose your autonomy once you die?
That's essentially how they're acting.
Yeah.
So just come up with really good passwords and tell everyone no.
Yes.
By using his name, I think they're also equating his entire existence and what he will be remembered for as the product he was a part of creating, and only that, and it reduces him just to this character he played.
Beyond the fact that he played like so many iconic roles, like he was a very, very established and sought after actor before this movie. He should not have to be remembered as
those things he was in before also use his Twitter account to promote their sequels and spin-offs.
No one should.
No.
It's
gross.
Then now everything is up in the air. There's no consensus on what to do. And if his family allows it because it enriches themselves, then there's nothing to be done there.
Yeah, I blame his family.
He played James Brown and Jackie Robinson in movies. So he played...
yeah.
Even that's an interesting thing. Like that's a depiction by somebody else of somebody else's life as a dramatization. So that's...
I understand dramatizations more because you're not actually using their likeness, and no one is under the impression that it's like a documentary. Right? But the hologram thing is literally taking their image and just... copy and pasting it for a new audience in a new context that they didn't agree to.
And they did, like I said, they did do this with Stan Lee, where they licensed his likeness after he passed. The poor guy can't rest.
That's
like,
not cool.
His life was hell in his last years after he lost his wife. All the people who wanted his money, the people who wanted to use him for business opportunities, like videos are like talking about him signing stuff in with his own blood. Like where it looks like he's at like a Comic-Con table, and it looks like he's being forced to be there, like by handlers. Like and that's even before he dies. What's happening now is almost even worse because you can't even defend yourself in any way.
I don't know, man, because they're gone. So it's like they obviously don't care, and clearly their families don't care. It's just so disrespectful.
I think maybe they don't care, but I believe in an afterlife, and a lot of these people in the entertainment industry maybe have made films or shows or whatever that promote things they realized later on, like in their afterlife, that they don't want to promote anymore. And now
they would regret it.
Their image and identity is equated to that and is used to sell it.
Yep.
Although I suspect in the big scheme of things, after you die, even if you are able to like look back on what's going on in the world, you're like, I don't care at all about that. Not at all.
I wouldn't suspect they care, but
I don't know.
Still, I think it's a violation of their conscience.
Yes.
So is it possible? Is it not possible that you pay these executives at Disney very, very big large sums of money, and there isn't one dude there who's just like, hey, boss, maybe this isn't the best idea? Or is this a product of them being in their own weird corporate echo chamber that doesn't allow them to see this for the mistake that it was?
Yeah, they're so isolated and like self-aggrandizing. They all just like fillet each other and like tell each other that everything they do
it's a circle of jerks.
Yeah, it's like genius and artistic, and like if you look at the trailer for Wakanda Forever, you can even tell it's just they're so self-aggrandizing. They think of themselves as like the elites that make taste, that make morality.
They're wrong.
They like make the rules, and we have to listen and consume.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. Listening, it's consume, consume. It's
like listen and believe,
consumers,
but
it's the NPC meme. It just says consume.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.